What's up, my legion of leasers, my army of apartment maniacs? It's Matt Easton, founder of Leasing University, the most effective training in the world of property management. Let's talk about a frustrating situation, to say the least. You've worked with a prospect, you've shown them an apartment. It's perfect for them. You know it's perfect. They know it's perfect. Everything's going great. And you ask them, does it make sense to go sign the lease? And they're like, I need to check with my blank first. I need to check with my boss first. I need to check with my best friend first. I need to check with my Uncle Kenny because he's a general contractor and he knows drywall, right? I want Uncle Kenny to look at the apartment before I make a decision. Ugh. It feels like you got punched in the stomach, doesn't it? Here's the thing that's going on here. A lot of times we get this, I need to check with my blank first. Okay? And I'm not talking about I need to check with my husband, my wife, or my partner first. If the person's going to be on the lease, yeah, that's valid. They should probably check with them before signing their name to a contract. That's also illegal, okay? But you know what I'm talking about. We get these the Uncle Kenny, the best. My best friend has been my best friend for 40 years and I want my best friend to look at the apartment before I sign the lease type of thing. A lot of times when we get that punch in the stomach, we just kind of give up and we're like, oh, okay, when can you bring them by? And that's not good, because then we're not in control of the situation. And although sometimes they do bring them by and everything works out great and they end up leasing the apartment, all well and good, a lot of times we never hear from that person again. Things happen. They go find another apartment community that I trained and that person locks down the lease. So here's what I want you to do. And remember, nothing at Leasing University teaches you to be high pressure. Nothing teaches you to be salesy, slick, or sleazy, or manipulative. But I also want you to be more skillful, and I want you to be more constructive, and I want you to act more like a therapist. Remember this, your job is to help them make a decision. Sometimes people push back on you and they stall because of wacky emotions going on in their brain. So the next time somebody says, you know, I really, hey, does it make sense to sign the lease? I really like it, but I want my Uncle Kenny to look at the apartment because he's a general contractor. First thing I want you to do, agree with them. I agree with you. I totally get it, right? Uncle Kenny sounds pretty cool. Hey, just out of curiosity, what if Uncle Kenny says no? Okay, let me run you back through that. I want my best friend Roberta to look at the apartment before I make a decision. I get it. I'm with you. Hey, just out of curiosity, what if Roberta says no? Now here's the great thing. There's only 3 answers that they can give you. Just out of curiosity, what if Uncle Kenny says no? Answer number 1. My Uncle Kenny would never say no to me, right? Awesome. Sounds a lot like my relationship with my uncle. I love my uncle. Hey, knowing that your uncle's not going to say no, does it make sense to sign the lease before somebody else takes this apartment? Knowing they're not going to say no. Knowing Roberta would never say no to you because she's your best friend, does it make sense to sign the lease before somebody takes the apartment? And then when you show it to her, you'll be showing her your apartment and you won't have a risk of losing it. Knowing that your father would never say no to you, right? Sounds a lot like my relationship with my dad, right? Does it make sense to sign the lease before somebody takes the apartment? Okay, that's answer number 1. My dad would never say no to me. My uncle would never say no to me. My best friend would never say no to me. Answer number 2. Hey, just out of curiosity, what if Uncle Kenny says no to the apartment? Well, I'd lease it anyways. I just want to show it to them, right? What if your friend Roberta says no to the apartment? Well, I'd lease it anyways. It's my apartment. It's not Roberta's apartment. What if your dad says no to the apartment? Well, I'd still lease it anyways. I just want my dad to see it first. Got it. Sounds a lot like my relationship with my dad. Knowing that you're going to lease it anyways, does it make sense to go ahead and sign the lease now so that when your dad does look at it, we're looking at your apartment and somebody else doesn't grab it for you? Okay, so that's response number 2. They're going to lease it anyways. Here's the third one, and they have to do one of these 3. They have to. There's no other avenue they can take. Just out of curiosity, what if Uncle Kenny says no, right? Well, if they say no, I'd need to keep looking. What if Roberta says no? Well, if Roberta doesn't like it, she's my best friend, I'll have to keep looking. Just out of curiosity, what if your dad says no? Well, if my dad says no, I mean, it's my dad, right? I'd have to keep looking. If they say that, realize this. Is their dad there? Is Roberta there? Is their Uncle Kenny there? No. There's a really high probability that there's something, we call it a hidden objection, that they're uncomfortable with. It's your job. You need to be more skillful as a real estate professional and figure it out, right? So here's how that sounds. Hey, just out of curiosity, what if your dad says no? Well, if my dad says no, I'd have to keep looking. I get it. Makes perfect sense to me. Hey, so if your dad were to say no, what do you think your dad would say no to? Well, my dad, he'd like the apartment. He'd love the kitchen. He just wants me to be happy. He'd probably say no to the fact that this one, I don't know what you guys call it, garden level, that this one where the window is right next to where somebody can walk in. My dad would probably feel that that wasn't safe, and I think my dad would want me to be on a higher floor, right? You probably have somebody in front of you that's not comfortable telling you, because you have such a great relationship, they don't want to give you the bad news that this particular unit, they don't feel safe in, right? Whose objection is that? Is it their dad's objection? Their dad's not there, right? It's their objection, which then opens the door for you to use the rest of your Leasing University training and work with them on handling that objection or complaint. You're either going to need to find something on a different floor, or you're going to need to work through those emotions of them not feeling completely safe at that level. And this works for anything, not just safety and levels. It could be the security deposit. It could be the fact that you don't have a dog park. It could be the fact that you don't have 4-month leases. Whatever it is, you're going to find most of the time when somebody says, I want my blank to see it before I make a decision, they're actually just literally want them to see it and don't realize they're running the risk of losing the apartment, right? Or there's something going on in their mind or their heart that's causing them to have some anxiety and some delays, and they're using that uncle, friend, or father, or whoever it is, as an excuse to go home and think about it some more. Hope this helps. Put it into practice. You're going to find you're going to get a lot more leases. Again, my name is Matt Easton. I am running the show here at Leasing University. On behalf of all of our people, we would love it if you'd click the link below, take a look at our plans. We want to work with you. And if you have any questions at all, call us at 888-735-7451. The way people rent apartments has changed. Today's renter has access to more information. Today's renter has more choices. The apartment industry needs you. Studies have shown that moving is the most stressful life event. The old sales training, well, it just doesn't work today. I'd like to teach you how to take the stress out of leasing apartments in a way that's meaningful to you and your renters and get you 7 times more leases. I'll show you how the perfect leasing process works. I'm going to walk you through everything from answering the phone to closing the lease. I'm going to show you how to determine your prospects' wants and their needs so that you can build value in your apartments. You will learn how to handle any objection or complaint. I'm going to show you how to connect with your renter so it's easy for them to rent with you. I've taught the best property management companies and thousands of people just like you how to lease apartments. Property management is complicated. I'll simplify it for you. There's more competition than ever before. I'm going to show you how to be number one. All of a sudden, your career, it's going to make perfect sense, even if you've never worked in sales or property management before. And for the advanced property manager, I'm going to show you how to take things to the next level. Leasing University is a new, simple, step-by-step process that's effective. We're going to help you become a rock star in property management. I'm Matt Easton, and this is Leasing University.